Welcome to my tutorial. Feel free to navigate the tutorial by using the menu at any time in the video. You can select on any scene that you see, taking you directly to that step or whichever step you last left off on. This video covers a lot of things and I move very quickly, but I am sure to take care and make sure to mention everything that you need to finish this project fast and efficiently. This project can be finished in a very small amount of money to $50, depending on what you want to spend. What you need to get, and where you need to get it, I guess you need to get it over at the hardware store. You're going to need to pick up some tweezers, a small screwdriver, and an X-Acto knife, some 2000 grit sandpaper. Get yourself a small Phillips head screwdriver and some 220 grit sandpaper as well. Pick out whatever paint you want to use. I suggest using Rust-Oleum. It's very good paint for this kind of project. Get your Mod Podge if that project is something that you want to do, as well as some sponge brushes, a pair of scissors, and I'm going to show you where to get some custom buttons. A lot of little cool things that you can use to personalize your controller. Some personalized home buttons. I went ahead and picked up a badge, a PlayStation badge, but I'll get into that into another video. I'm also going to show you how to replace the light bar with a custom light bar and where to buy that custom light bar, as well as others. And you're also going to need to get yourself some pictures if you're going to choose to do the Mod Podge. Now for the custom buttons, I went to eBay, and you just type in, things like PS4 custom buttons, or custom PS4 buttons, custom PlayStation 4 buttons, and you'll get a list of all kinds of things. The first thing that I found here was a light bar decal, which is just a piece of vinyl that you would put over the light bar that's already there. It's not like the Batman one that that we bought to use in this project, but you can see that they have a Batman decal if that's something that you want to use. Keep in mind though, vinyl does tear, and over time, it's gonna deteriorate, whereas if you buy something like the other light bar, it's gonna be permanent. Now if you want your buttons to actually have the symbols, they have colors that also have the symbols on them, colored buttons that also have the symbols on them. You can find them in all kinds of different colors. There's purple. I found, of course, for this project, I wanted the purple buttons with the actual purple touchpad as well, because I wanted everything to match. And you don't have to just, they don't just make purple, they make blue. So I'm checking that out, and you can find that there's also blue buttons that look really cool. Those are kind of like a bullet or something like that. And there's also controller cases that you can buy, as well as you can see there's the blue buttons with the blue touchpad and a light blue in here. And for some reason red showed up in the blue for whatever reason, but you can see that it's definitely an option. eBay has a lot of things for you to find. It's a lot of fun to spend a lot of time on that. Moving on to looking for your customized home button. You just put custom home PS4 button, and the very first one that pops up was a really good one. Luckily enough, they had a Joker home button. Now, if you're doing a mod and you haven't picked a theme yet, a good place to start is looking for a home button that has something in it that you could work with. There you can see there's Wolverine, there's the Riddler, there's Deadpool, a couple of arc reactors, and the Batman one also is a very cool one. Of course, any theme that you want to do, it's all up to you. There's one with a Captain America type theme with actually the buttons Captain America. That's also an option. Light up thumbsticks. I'm not going to show you how to do the light up thumbsticks, but that's definitely an option for you. And for the custom light bar, this guy here, he has a store that about $20 for this thing. Not very expensive, but this guy is the guy that you want to go see. And it's definitely a cool store. He has a lot of different custom light bars that you can look up. the best way to look that up would be to, I guess, type in custom printed PlayStation 4 or PS4 light bar, and put that in your search bar. Custom printed PS4 light bar, and you should get this guy. He has a whole page of stuff, not just Batman. You know, he has all kinds of different things, all $20. Disassembly. Now we're going to find our screws, which I'm pretty sure you've noticed them on the back, and we're going to go ahead and remove the sticker. Leaves no residue. Very easy. Just pull it from the top down. You can place it on a strong piece of plastic so you can put it back on later if you choose to paint your controller on the bottom. But we're going to do something else. We're going to put some graphics on the bottom of this, but we got to get it apart first. So basically, to get this part out, you have to use a screwdriver there at the edges where your right bumper buttons are, and kind of twist it and work it apart. It'll just pop open. Work it around slowly to the bottom and just kind of pull it apart. Be careful, because there's a ribbon cable that's attached to the other part. You don't want to rip that. We're going to go ahead and pull that out, which is actually very easy. Just grab it and pull it up. It comes right off. Very simple stuff. Alright, so let's take this screw out here from the middle, and this is going to free the controller. But before that, we're going to have to pull this cable out here. This is another ribbon cable. You can just grab that with a pair of pliers or something and pull it straight up, and that will free that board there that holds the joysticks into place, and also releasing this encasement on the inside. Flip it forward. It all comes forward, including the touchpad. Very easy to just pull out. Being careful not to spill your buttons everywhere. Now that we've got this off, though, we're going to go ahead and take our right bumper and left bumper off. They just pull right off. Very easy, as well as the joysticks just pop right off. And of course, removing the pads, revealing the buttons underneath. Now, we'll pull out the trigger buttons by pushing from the outside and pushing it in towards you. There are little springs on these, and you have absolutely got to make sure to keep those safe, because without them, your right and left triggers will not function. Now, we're going to pull this white piece off by, on the right side, pulling up, and it just comes out, and that'll get you the light bar out. Put that off to the side, and this just peels right out. It basically pushes the light and disperses it evenly across the light bar, and this comes out with a couple of screws. Again, very easy to pull those out. You put them off to the side so you can put them back in at the end of your project if you wish to do so. Now this is your light motherboard here. That's what the ribbon is attached to. I call it a light motherboard. It's just a chip, basically, that your lights are attached to. And you're going to put that off into a safe place. Put everything off to a safe place. And we're going to get the insides and everything off to the side. Sanding. Now, I chose to put a couple of holes in this piece of wood to hold the guide and share buttons into place. You could do that on cardboard. It'd be a little easier than drilling a hole. But with your 220 grit sandpaper, you will basically rub the buttons across them in a circular fashion until you are sure that they are no longer shiny. And you'll do that with all of the buttons. You don't have to do that with the joysticks. Once you're finished with that, you'll move on to the actual controller, paying attention to all of the creases and all of the curves of it, making sure to get it all nice and matte everywhere, getting it all scuffed up real good so that the paint will stick. Now let's wash our hands and wash this up. Primer and paint. Alright, so with the first coat and only coat of primer, we're going to lightly spray across the project. Really doesn't take very much at all. You don't want to put a whole bunch of it on there. Just light bursts, only spraying within your sweeps. And you can see here it's just basically speckled on there. Primer is meant to promote adhesion. And we're going to let this dry for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now that it's dry, you can actually move the controller around pretty easily on the top by using this bar that the touchpad grabs onto, because you don't ever see that when it's all put together. We're going to go ahead and hit it with our first coat, getting it from all angles. Very quick sweeps. Again, only bursting my paint within the sweep. And letting this dry for about 20 minutes between coats. And on the second coat, I'm going to make sure that I know exactly where everything needs to go, taking away the black underneath. Again, just very light strokes, light bursts of paint, because it'll build up and it looks really, really, really good when you do it that way. And again, after 20 minutes, in between coats, hitting it with my third coat now. Now I'm going to hit the buttons and the joysticks from the sides, sweeping forward and over them and maneuvering the platform that they're on, so I can get all of these buttons from all angles. These are really easy buttons to paint. Everything that you need is like right there for you. It's presented right there in front of you. I mean, this is, to tell you the truth, probably about the easiest, but way easier than Xbox buttons for some reason. That's no joke. Xbox One buttons like to fall around and stuff. But we're going to keep this down to 2 coats of paint, and it's going to be a very light coat of paint each time, because you want the buttons to move freely in the shell. Mod Podge. Alright, so let's start off by finding some pictures that we're going to use to put onto our controller, some graphics if you will. The person who I'm doing this for chose to do Joker themes, so we're going to look for some Joker stuff. Of course, there's the classic, everybody loves the Heath Ledger Joker. But I want to go with a little bit something more iconic and hit the comic book stuff and basically print out a bunch of these pictures. But I'm going to, it's very easy. If you don't know how to do this, my goodness, I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. You just right click on your picture, click Save As, give it a name, and if you want to give it a specific folder to make this easy for you to find or put all of your pictures together, if you're going to do a collage like I'm going to do, I suggest putting them into a folder so that way you can get all to them and make your collage of pictures that you're going to print out on paper, which I'm making a little video to show you how to do that just to save time on this video. It basically shows you how to put your pictures together so you can print it out. I'm using After Effects, but we can do that with a lot of different programs. So basically when we're done with that, we're going to print out our collage, and we're going to make sure that this is checked off, because we want to make sure that it will print all of the pictures. I'm using regular paper, just regular old plain paper, and you might have something different, some photo paper or whatever. You can use whatever paper you want, but I suggest just using plain old paper. And we're going to go ahead and print it off a full sheet. making sure that everything is where it needs to be, and just hit print. Print out your pictures, get your Mod Podge and your sponge brushes ready, and we're going to go ahead and cut out all of these pictures, leaving no white. We want to make sure to get just the color, you know, just to the edge of the color, so that there's no white on the edge. We don't want borders. Maybe you want borders, but for the sake of this project, I didn't want to do that. Get a bunch of pictures of all kinds of different sizes, because we're going to need to cover a lot of different areas on the back of this controller. Alright, now that we have all of our pictures cut out, we're going to go ahead and take our Mod Podge. And you can also use water to do this. Water kind of helps if you're finding a little difficulty in getting the pictures to lie down the way you want them to, flat. You can use a little water on the controller first, and then put the Mod Podge on the back of the picture like I did there. And then just basically apply these pictures, and giving it a swift coat of Mod Podge over the top, so that way it's not going anywhere. And you just basically repeat this process, and you're going to overlap your edges with all this paper, all these pictures. You're going to go around the edges and try to get actually make sure positively certain that you get all of the black gone. Get rid of all of that black. Cover it up with pictures, make a good little collage there. And as you're doing this, you might think, gosh, I don't know how this is going to look. This looks like crap. You just keep going. It's definitely a little bit kind of it can be difficult to tell how it's gonna turn out. You just keep going. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. And honestly, I think you can see exactly how I'm doing this. It's random placement of the pictures, but also I'm taking a careful look, because there's some things that you can't really see. But I'm keeping an eye out for black, and I'm also keeping an eye out for kind of areas where maybe the paper kind of wrinkled up or something like that. You can cover that up with pictures, but when you do it with a collage like this, you can just cover that stuff up. It'll go away. It's very easy to remove mistakes and things like that. So we're taking our pictures, we're covering them with Mod Podge on the back, laying it down onto the controller, and then covering it again with Mod Podge and repeating the process. Once we've finished all of that up and we've got a pretty good solid coat of our collage, we're going to cover it over with a good coat of Mod Podge all over the entire project. And I like to keep my brush strokes in the same direction. And we'll let it set and dry for about 20 minutes. And then after we do that, we come back to it and do it again. Putting a second coat on there. Making sure that we cover it up. And again, keeping the brush strokes in the same direction. You'll repeat this process up to 5 times. I mean, do it 5 times. Don't be like, I can't do this 5 times. Do it 5 times. And 20 minutes in between each time, because we're going to go over this with some wet sanding, and it's going to make it really nice and smooth. But before that, we've got to get our final coat on there and let it sit again for 24 hours before we go to wet sand this. We're going to let it sit for 24 hours. Wet sand. Alright, so let's get an X-Acto knife here, good and sharp, And we're going to go around the edge of our controller. Now that we have waited for 24 hours, we're going to go around the edge of our controller and basically cut out and shape our controller back to normal. Making sure to cut out the right trigger holes and the left trigger holes and the USB port hole. Also, really pay attention to where your right bumper and left bumper go, because we do not want them to get stuck and hung up on the Mod Podge project that we applied. So you're going to spend some time doing this. You'll probably end up maybe having to go back from time to time, making sure that you got all of the paper removed, but just attention to detail, guys. Very easy. Now you get yourself some soapy water. I suggest about, I guess I would say about a tablespoon to about a half a cup of coffee there. Half a cup, half a mug, half a coffee mug, and you'll basically move in circular motions across the whole project. You don't have to push down very hard, but you do definitely have to give it a little bit of elbow grease there. But you just don't have to, not so hard that you're pushing all the way through, because you don't want to, accidentally go all the way through the Mod Podge into the actual picture and just ruin everything. Just basically taking off the top layer and making it all nice and smooth, and in the end it'll feel like plastic. Now you're going to notice the project will look hazy and it's kind of dull looking. That's normal. That means you're actually getting the wet sand. You're sanding all over everywhere. If it's all hazy all over, then you have sanded everywhere, which is excellent. Now we're just go ahead and pat it down with a paper towel. Get it as dry as we can by our hands, and we're going to set it off to the side. We're going to let it dry for an hour. Clear coat. We're going to clear coat everything now, and we're going to go ahead and basically just do as we've been doing with the paint. Quick, short bursts, only spraying within our sweeps and hitting it from all angles, giving it 20 minutes in between each coat. At this point, you're really going to see the detail in the Mod Podge project start to come through, and all the color and everything is going to start to stick out. It's really important that you have a clear coat on this because it protects the project. Now with the buttons, we're only going to hit it with one coat because we do not want the buttons to stick to the controller. I mentioned that before. I'm mentioning it again. Do not put too much paint on your buttons, because if you do, they will not function properly, and that leaves you to no gaming at all. And I'm not responsible. Reassembly. Now I need to pull apart this touchpad. I've got to pull this chip off of it, and there's no easy way to go about it. We are very carefully going to slip our X-Acto down into the side, separating that chip away from the plastic. There is a really strong adhesive that is connecting the two. That's all it is an adhesive. I strongly suggest that you try not to damage that adhesive. And for the love of God, be careful. You can see that this is potentially dangerous. So carefully get that down in there so that you can get a little space to maneuver around. Look out. We just created enough space to put a little, I used a nail file. It's a little bit safer, I think. Still a little dangerous. So be careful. It's got to be something thin, maybe a thin butter knife, something that you know, you feel comfortable wedging that thing off with, because that's ultimately what you have to do. Is you basically got to move whatever you're using to wedge it out with across all the way around until you get until you free it. And try and get that adhesive, put as much of that adhesive back on there if you lose any. And you just basically put it right back down onto your new one, and we're ready to put this thing back together. Just basically watch what I'm doing there. It's very easy. If you need to reference it, there you go. Putting our guide and our share button back into place. And the D-pad is actually universal. You just put it right in whichever way. It doesn't matter. How about that? And the pad that goes over it, you have these little posts that fits onto it. Now our X button, we put that on the bottom hole. Our triangle goes into the top. Our square button goes into the right. And our circle button goes into the final left hole. And again, with putting the pad back into place, it also has posts there closer to the middle. If you're having some difficulty putting those pads in, you more than likely got them backwards. Next to the reset button on the board that's inside the controller, there is this little area for that ribbon cable to go back into, and it just basically moves down to open it up. Just move it downward, and we're going to attach the touchpad back to that main part of our controller. You'll feel it lock into place, and then once you have, you just push up and it will seal it. Go ahead and replace our screw. It's very important that you put that screw back into place. Don't want to skip that screw. These have a groove that the right and left bumpers fit down onto, and they just push right back in. Very easy. Move nice and freely. Let's put together the bottom part of the controller now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the USB chip. Make sure that you got that hole cut if you did the Mod Podge. Make sure it's cut open there, so you can put this guy back into place. There's actually a couple little posts down there that it fits down onto, and you just pop it into place. Very easy. And we're going to go ahead and put our custom Batman light bar inside there. It also just pops into place perfectly. Way to go, guys. Good job, good product. Buy that. Buy that from those guys. I don't even know them, but I like that product. It's a good one. And we're going to stick our light disperser back. Just fits right over those rectangular shapes there on the bottom of the controller. It fits right back onto there. Sticks really well, even though you pulled it off. That's good adhesive. Good job. So it's not going anywhere. Everything is back into place. We'll go ahead and Basically, you'll take the left side of this white bar, which is a smaller hole in it than the right side, and there's a groove that it fits into on the left side of the controller. Basically, it's really hard to see because it's all black, but you just fit it in there, and then you'll push the right side over the top of the side on the right and push it down into place, and there it is, sturdy and ready to go. Now, again, this is an excellent time to make sure that the holes where your right and left trigger buttons are going into are cleaned out nice so that they will move freely. You want no resistance. If you need to readjust, by all means, just pull out the button and readjust, scraping away until you get it perfect. Careful not to cut up the plastic. And putting the springs back on, you will use the tweezers, and they go on the inside, facing the middle of the controller. That is the only peg that they can fit on. And you'll just lock them into place there. Well, they don't really lock, they just kind of fit in there. And they can be a little squirrely, so be aware of what they're doing. And make sure that the gold side and is facing towards the battery. Again, the gold side of the ribbon cable facing towards the battery. You want the blue side facing away from the battery. And you'll put that back into place, back on the motherboard from where we removed it when we first opened the controller. And at this point, when you've got that in there, go ahead and hit your power button, making sure that you've got the connection right. So you'll go ahead and start to close it back up. Pay attention to your right and left triggers. Make sure that they kind of pop into place. You'll see them jump forward a little bit, meaning that they are locked in. You don't want to close it up all the way at first. You want to get up in there and make sure that those buttons are working before you go to close it up. If they're not, you're going to have to open it back up and kind of relocate that spring. Pop it all back together. I think it's all good and ready to go. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our finished project, our Joker PlayStation 4 controller, custom specifically for you. Now guys, I've made about 4 of these videos now, and I'm working on another video showing you how to do the console to match your controller next. And I really need to know from you guys if these are the kinds of videos that you like to see, and if these are the kinds of videos you would like to see more of. I need you to like these videos to let me know that, because without you guys, I have absolutely no reason to do any of this. And the other videos are doing really, really well, and I appreciate all of you for checking out my channel and checking out my videos and doing these projects with me. I love doing them for you. I love showing them to you. And again, if these are the kinds of videos you would like to see more of, click subscribe and check out my channel. Go ahead and give me a comment, and I will see you in the next video.